So let me share the screen and let you know that what I did was to put some resources together on a Padlet. Padlet is really a tool that's nice to collect resources in, and so that's why I've curated some and just put them in this on this Padlet. You'll see that there are sticky notes. And they might have words, and they might also have videos or links in them. So what is Ally? You see this, it's now already in all the courses that you have, because we all share the same CUNY Blackboard system, you already have it. It's really a tool intended to create a more inclusive and accessible learning environment for your students. It actually provides students with a choice in how to view the materials that you are sharing with them. And the other piece for the instructor part is that it helps you, it increases awareness, and it tries to guide you in making your content more accessible, your course more accessible. And so there are things that your students can see, and there are pieces that you can see. And so I want to differentiate and let you know that your students are seeing less, you are seeing more. Okay, and so here's what your students can see. They can see content, and they are allowed to download them in different formats. So I'll demo it and I'll show you, but then you can see that part, and also you'll see accessibility gauges. You might have already seen them in your courses. So these are they look like speedometer type things in different colors. Okay, so you see them, your students don't see them. And then you can also run an accessibility report. And again, that is personal to you. Only professors see them in their own courses, students do not. Okay, and so what I have on the top part, so for students and alternative formats, these are two YouTube videos that I highly recommend that you share with your own students, because it tells the students how they can download the materials and then when they might want to use the different formats. Okay, so let me now transition to Blackboard, and let's look at Ally in Blackboard. So this is a sample course. Okay, it might look like some of your courses. It has a welcome page, an announcement, actually, and a few modules. This is not really a real course. It's actually a training course. And so let me actually go into it using the student preview mode. Okay, because this is what your students can see. Right? And so I want to show you that when your students go into a course and they go into a content area, they are seeing this, okay? And you can see it as well, right? So there's this little eye and an arrow down. It just means Blackboard Ally, you can download stuff. Okay, that's what that's trying to say. And so if you click on it, you'll see that it allows you to download things in several different formats. And of course, this is one of the tenets of Universal Design for Learning is choice, right? Choice in how you want to review the materials. And so this is what Ally does very well. It allows the students different ways to perceive, to actually look at the material. And so one way is for them to look at it as an EPUB. An EPUB is actually a file format that's usable for an ebook or actually readers. Okay, so when the students download this, and so I actually downloaded ahead of time that little piece of getting started. Okay, so I'll bring it up and show you what the students would be seeing. Okay, so students actually open that up. Okay, download. Okay, I'm on a Mac. Okay, this is a laptop on a Mac, and so I have something called Books. It's a program that's already on the Mac, and it's an ebook reader basically. Okay, so this is what the students would see, and so they can they have all the features of the of this program, and they can highlight, they can annotate, and they can do things like that. Okay, they can also, so this will depend, this file format is good for e-readers, and so it will, the text will be accessible to them in different ways, and they can do different things depending on the e-reader. Okay, I'm on the Mac, and so that's why Books is actually the e-reader. So the EPUB format gives you something that looks like that. And another version is actually a
title,
version.
Watch, Getting Oriented. Begin paragraph text. Instructors, take a quick tour of your Blackboard Learn course environment.
Okay, you just got that. That computer-generated voice is what the students will be able to get once they download, and they download the MP3 version. Okay, and so, and again, because I'm on a Mac, this is a program that it uses to read that. I actually skipped the electronic braille version because I actually don't have anything to demonstrate it for you, but you know that that's actually another version that students can download. And you know, this is nice because your students do not need to tell you, they do not need to request different formats. You don't need to know, and they don't need to, tell you if they are in need of a different format, right? And so this is nice because it gives the students a choice. Now, these two other formats are also interesting. This Beeline reader gives you this. I'm not sure how to describe it, and so I'll just let you see it. And so this is all the same piece, right? This is just that little piece that says, welcome instructors, take a tour. And so it's actually an HTML file, okay, but it's supposed to be better, more useful if you are reading on the screen. And so because it can give you contrast in colors, okay, and so this is what it does. Let me make it a little bigger, see if you can see it better. Okay, so it's the same text, but it's actually, when I'm changing, okay, it's supposed to help you read. I'm not sure how, but that's what it does. Okay, so you can choose the different formats and see that. So that's the Beeline reader, right? The immersive reader. I have to actually click here and click on download. And I'm going to play.
Instructors, take a quick tour of your Blackboard Learn course environment.
Okay, you get the idea. So it sounds a little better. It sounds more human-like, I think. And so this version, again, gives the students the ability to actually watch and read at the same time, listen and read at the same time. And then you can actually have text preferences. You can make changes in the text. So this is what this other version allows you to do. Okay, so Beeline Reader, this is Immersive Reader, and then they also have a translated version. And what you do is you click on Translate and you pick the language that you want and you download. I think that you'll find, I'll show you an example. You'll probably find that the quality of the translation is maybe questionable, but it is possible. So let me show you that. Should we say Spanish? Maybe we have some professors here who can read and tell. Okay, I'm just making it big, and this is just plain text, supposedly translated into Spanish. Okay, so as you can tell, it tries, but it's probably questionable. Now, I also realized that it's possible that you are teaching a language course in which you do not want a translation. If that is a concern, then you want to talk to our Blackboard administrator. Actually, we do have Victoria online and see if it's possible for her to actually raise it to CUNY Central and see if there's something that they can do about it. As of right now, they are all active. And so again, so what it does is it gives students a choice, right? So it allows students all these different ways of downloading content, and it's it's a choice for the students. And how to make the choice is actually a video that we have here online that the students can actually look at. And actually, I also made a link to the documentation, to the online documentation provided by Blackboard. And actually, this is such a useful table. And I would say, make this available to your students, but also check it out yourself, because what if you yourself are commuting and might want to, I don't know, review one of the readings that you assigned in a audio format or in an immersive reader format. Okay, and so these are, so if you prefer listening, you might choose these formats. If you prefer reading, you might choose these other formats. Okay, so this is a useful table to have for you and for your students. So let me go back a little bit. And
I'm
yes.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to, we have a question in the chat, and I want to make sure that I'm giving the right information. So Roberta says, does this mean that instructors do not need to create multimodal designs? I said that, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. They will still need to make sure that the material itself is just accessible so that the material can translate into the different formats correctly. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so. I don't think it means that the professors don't need to worry about different formats. I think as much as possible, if you can create materials in different formats, you would want to, but at least you know that for some of the formats, students have a choice in downloading it. And I think that for you who's knowledgeable, you might want to download it and see what the students will see, and then decide whether you might need to, make materials in other accessible formats. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and I would say that these two are basically the videos for you, the videos for the professors. Okay, so this one is a short one that tells you a little bit about what the gauges mean, and then actually how to edit. How to make changes and make your content more accessible. So what I'm going to do is actually go to the Blackboard course again and try to show you in the course. I'm going to exit the preview, which is the student mode, right? And then we're going to look at the course from your perspective. So when the edit mode is on, let me go into the getting oriented part. Okay, and as you can see, you still have the right? You still have the alternative formats and you can download. And you're probably seeing this. Okay, so this is one of those gauges. And when you see red, it probably means that you should take a look and see if there's something you can do to remedy that. And so let me go and show you. So actually, the first thing you can do is actually just click on it, okay? And it will tell you. Okay, it tries to tell you what is wrong, and it tries to tell you how to fix it. So for example, here, it says that the image needs a description, and if you click, it tells you, gives you more information. And then also you can click on, it tries to guide you in how to do it. Okay. So I need to make it smaller to be able to see. I'm sorry, it's now too small. All right, let's go back to my getting oriented piece. And I also want to show you that you can also see the gauge and get guidance on how to fix content in this particular content area if you go to edit. So remember that edit is actually the place where you can go to write content. So this is the content area, and you have the editing box. And right here, you also have another gauge. Okay, and so if I click on it, it'll tell me all the issues that this piece has. Okay, and so I'm going to click on all issues. Okay, and right here we have two main problems. One, that this has too little contrast. You can see that I did what some of the professors like to do, which is to change color because they want to catch students' attention. But the issue is that you might not have enough contrast between the text and the background. Okay, and so this is what the checker is catching, and it tries to help you make it better. And so what I can do is actually, okay, so let me just make everything black and apply it to all the 16 occurrences. And now it's all black, and it's now much more readable to the students. Okay, so then the other issue that I have is that this image does not have a description. And so what I should do is either write a description or actually say that this is decorative, so it really doesn't matter that it has a description. Okay, and so this is actually a screenshot of content area. Do that, and I'm going to click on add. Okay, and so now the gauge goes, and now this area I know is accessible. I am going to submit, so the changes get set, and now I shouldn't have that issue. Okay, so that's, again, so this is actually in the content area. So in the content area, this is how you fix it. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more and let you see some of the other gauges. Okay, and so this one, for example, is green, so you can feel a little more relaxed about it. But then I also have this yellow, orange, and red. Okay, and so keep in mind that what Ally is checking is content that is in Blackboard. So content that is not on Blackboard, meaning any links that you're making to an outside site, it is not checking. If you go into a video that lives on YouTube, it is not checking that. Okay, so it does not know whether that's accessible or not. It only knows what is accessible in your Blackboard course. So I did what most professors will do, say upload your slide or upload a reading. Okay, and so this is an example of that. And so it's orange. I'm going to click on it. Okay, it's loading the preview. And here you can tell, well, I have a problem with images. I have some slides. It probably came from the textbook. And so again, what does it mean, right? And how to fix it. Okay, and it tries to guide you. And what it says is, can you find the original document? Because it's actually best to change the original document. So to go back to the original PPT, to the PowerPoint file, and make changes there, and then re-upload an accessible version. Okay, so it tries to guide you. It tries to tell you what to do. So this is one example of how to fix a slide. And then here's another example. And here it's telling me that the PDF is untagged. And untagged actually just means that it doesn't have titles marked up. It doesn't have tables do not have titles, or the full title is not marked up, meaning it doesn't tell an assistive device that this is actually a title. Okay, and so this is what happens with, it's something that you can do again in Word or in a PDF document, but it's best done in the original document. So these are some of the common problems that you might have, and this is how Ally tries to tell you. Okay. And so now if I go back, I wanted to just reiterate that the most common issues that you might have is that the image has no description, and you can just add the description or just say that it's decorative. There's not enough contrast, and so I would say just use whatever it recommends and make the contrast enough. Another common document is when professors scan a reading using a scanner, and actually you do not let it go through the OCR. And OCR actually means object character recognition. And so when you don't do that, what happens is, instead of reading a text, a paper with text, it's actually a picture of the page rather than letters on a page. Okay, and sometimes you can tell. Okay, so this is a reading from a textbook, right? And so you can usually tell whether you have real characters, real letters, if you can actually highlight. Okay, if the whole page becomes highlighted, then you probably have just the picture of the page. But if you can actually highlight, and so you can see, you can mark it up, you can do things with it, then it's likely that you have an okay document, meaning that it has been OCR'd and you have the text. So another common question, another common issue is that the document is not tagged, so it doesn't indicate, okay, that it has a heading and list and tables, and so it's not readable by assistive devices. Another very common problem is that you have videos, and your videos have no captions. Okay, so these are the most common issues. And so what I would say is you want to prioritize. Okay, you can actually, I'll show you later how you can actually run a report from your whole course, and you might see numbers that don't look great. So you want to prioritize, of course. We know you'll have priorities and little limited time. And so I would say start with the syllabus, and then think about your announcements, the assignment instructions, your slides, worksheets, notes that you're giving, to sharing with your students, because again, you have most control over these. You're writing them, right? You're putting these together. So start with these, and then prioritize your core required readings or videos, right? Anything else that other people are making, sure, you want to be choosy when you are curating. You want to curate materials that are accessible, but prioritize the ones that you're creating yourself. Okay, and so to help you with that, I also have some resources that around CUNY folks have put together. So this one is by the School of Professional Studies. It's best practices on creating accessible courses. So it's a PDF document that's linked from here. You can just click on that image and it opens, and it talks about general considerations and also very specifics about the menu and the headings. okay, and the hyperlinks. So when you get a chance, please take a look at that. This, again, is a resource at CUNY. It's making course materials accessible. If you click on the link, it takes you to the site, and it has very detailed instructions on how to make PDF and Microsoft Office, meaning Word and PowerPoint documents, accessible. Okay, and so also some other information here. So this is a CUNY site. Then I also have a link to the library site, a CUNY library site on creating accessible OERs or open educational resources. Again, if you click on it, it just takes you to the site and you'll see there are a lot. They do keep it updated. Well, it's 2021, but it's actually put together by the librarians, and they refer to lots of different file formats and how to make those accessible. Okay, so these are the resources available to you. Of course, the educational technologies are available to you to consult with you. And then we also provide workshops on video tools that create automatic captions. My colleague Abby actually is the one facilitating those workshops. You might already be using many of these video sources or video creation things. And so these tools will create automatic captions, but caution, they are not perfect. So allow them to create the automatic captions for you, but then go back, have Abby show you where you can actually edit those captions and make them perfect, because you might have, specific language that you use in your field that the transcriber, the automatic captioning service will not know what to do with, especially names of people. And those of us who have an accent, it might not do a great job. So you still need to go back to it for accuracy. Okay, so then last thing that I want to show you is this course accessibility report. Now keep this in mind, it's only viewable to you. You already have it, it's already in all of your courses. You just need to activate it and run it. Okay, and so if you are in a course, you should be able to see it under, it should be the first one under course tools. Okay, if it's not, it's because it's not available yet, it's not active yet. And so you want to activate it by going to customization, tool availability. Okay. You all have it in your course and it's only viewable to you. So I'm going to check off accessibility report. I'm going to click on submit, and then it should show up now under course tools. Okay. And so now if I click on accessibility report, it runs this report and it shows me the documents or that have issues. Okay, so this actually wraps up my share of the presentation today.